I wanna wait till Brent comes, but I got a little spiel about the road department. The history of it being in the red, but I'll keep it until Brent gets. In that, I don't think it's as negative as you sometimes say. I'll just leave it at
I think,
that.
I'm pretty sure we're not the lone ranger in this. I bet every other county's got the same issue because costs and whatever are crazy.
Well, a lot of them are a lot higher than that.
Well, they definitely are. Look at the biggest value of the cheap.
Right. I asked Pierce that day what theirs was. It was Mike Rudd, or Jim Rudd, Tom Seeger there, and they're $250 a mile. Pierce is $250. And I think Sheridan is $230 or $240. Yeah.
Anybody else think anything else that they picked up at that meeting? That's worth discussing.
No, it's still a little discouraging that 6 townships couldn't find one guy to show up.
I was just gonna bring that up. And that goes back to my deal where all this good information doesn't always get to the right people, but
Right.
it get a lot of people.
So I got back to my office that day, and I sent out a text to all 36 folks, and said, as I told you, you have to get your income balance and
Yeah.
go back to report to the state. And only one township said, you show me where it says that in some report. Okay, I sent it to them, all right.
You're kidding. The question back?
How many are over the 100,000 as long as they're successful?
Well, nobody so far.
Oh, you don't know.
I've probably gotten responses from about half. There's one township that has less than $1,000 in their treasury, and most of them have $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in their general fund.
Right.
But the hardest part, and in fact I'm sitting on a text right now that came during the course of this meeting, is what does that mean? I said, well, you would know if you had more than one fund. Because a lot of townships have a general fund, they have a road fund, et cetera.
Okay.
And I try to describe it that way. I mean, if you put money in your road fund, you can only spend it on the roads.
Yeah.
Your general fund, you can spend on anything you want. You can spend it on the salary of your chairman, or whatever the case may be. You can spend it however you like. But, that being said, a third of the townships are, you just want our total dollars? I said, only what's in your general fund. And they write back and say, well, how do you know?
How do you know what you're in
But,
your general
don't
fund?
you think
They don't know,
90%
they
of
don't
just
know if they
operate
have
on
more
it.
than one fund. I don't know if you've got more than one fund.
They gotta know, don't they?
No, I bet
Don't
that's
you get a
what-
bank statement?
I bet historically they all operated out of the general fund, that was it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what I think.
But
I know
the
Mark
smart
Marshall
ones
has
have
a
one
one and they got the
fund.
savings.
Right, so it was good education on your part for those that would have gotten it.
So a lot of things, in fact, I say in there, in the fund balance, and then I use the acronym definition. What's the definition? Look up 2 lines, there it is. It is what it is. So there's a lot of uncertainty, and I said, if you don't have more than just a general fund, then get a road fund.
Yeah.
And park some of your money there.
Well, because it's important to apply for that flex fund.
And we have 23 townships now, which is, when I first came, I think we had 10 or 11 that were at 18 mills. Now we have 23 that are at 18 mills, so they're doing half of the equation.
Right.
Now they've got to make sure that they get the other half of the equation, which is less than $100,000 in your general fund.
So what's the, is there some rule about the 100,000?
Yeah, you can't apply for flex funds.
You gotta be at 18 mills, and you cannot have more than $100,000 in your general
In
fund.
the general fund, okay.
Now, they can't change 2025. What they can do is change that going forward and create, and they don't need 14 checkbooks, it's all done on paper. Okay?
And that's another good reason if you meet with the townships that you can present that.
You know, and there's a few townships that shouldn't go to 18 mil. And we'll use Forward for an example. They got Prairie Towers and they got a valuation of $3 million.
But they got the river going through there, they may need to have a flex fund to fix something on a bridge, on one of their roads.
Well, that's different than this township flex fund.
And Norway Lake is the same way.
Yes.
That doesn't
They
co-op,
have
so
it.
they're at like 6 or 7 mils or whatever, but they're a prime example. They got 60 grand in their general fund, they've got $100,000 in their road fund. Now, if that was all combined, wouldn't matter, because they're not at 18 mils anyway, but they wouldn't qualify otherwise.
They've already got that.
They've already got
Well, there is a problem. with
How
some
about
of these-
some of them townships down there like Silver Lake or Chaseley that has not many roads? Should they be at 18 mils?
They all are.
They have-
Their valuation's so low that,
Silver Lake's not even close.
Don't have enough money to do what they need.
Yeah.
So they gotta go up in mills? They should?
over the 18.
No, just 2 8.
Oh, they're all 218 down there,
Silver
aren't they?
Lake. Silver-
They're not.
Silver
No.
Lake's one.
Nope.
5 or 6.
Silver Lake asked for the lowest amount of it.
Yep.
4,000.
Oh, I knew that. That's why I asked.
I don't know why, you know, last year, that was the group that got upset with me that said, I gotta put you at 0 because you gotta respond, you gotta turn in a budget. And I ended up driving down there and we got a budget, but then they asked for $4,000. To me, what's the difference between 0 and 4,000?
Reload of gravel.
Yeah, right.
So, but anyway, yeah, there's 11 and they're one of them. There's not that.
They should be.
And Fram, the one you mentioned that has Prairie Towers.
Forward.
Norway Lake.
Forward.
You know, there's some that for good reason. Hamburg Township is way below it.
Yeah.
So,
And they should be. They shouldn't have $500,000 in their bank account. That's taxation without using it, you know?
Yeah, you get north of Drake up there where that big elevator is, that township's got all kinds of money.
They're good example.
Yeah.
There's the proof that you need outside sources like, you
Exactly.
know, I hate to beat that horse, but Windmill Farm, which I don't like either, but would have probably brought other stuff with it, which makes a big difference.
Yep.
One other thing with the township, you got educated by one of the assessors down there, and what did she say? After the meeting?
Oh,
She's more into us, so I don't know.
I know.
What did she say? I must have turned it on.
You're down there.
Tammy, can you come out for a second?
Go, Brent.
Morning, it's the beginning, middle of the week. You're good, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, it's like the cold.
well, you can sit
We'll
with
share.
Okay, Tammy's gonna,
Alto
Tammy will talk
Brian.
to you about this floodplain permit and what its purpose is and so on, so. we'll get that approved.
So the bottom one is the one the engineer filled out, the top one is our county application. So it's for the bridge. So it needs to be signed by the engineer and by the commissioner.
So we need to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
okay, motion made by Stan, approve the deal, bridge thing, is there a second? Second by Lewis, discussion, anything you wanna add to it?
You guys have any
Cut and
questions?
dry to it.
Yeah.
Go to the discussion, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carried.
I think the only question I have up there is, are they gonna reroute the channel on the west side of that bridge to make it a straight shot?
No.
What's to keep that thing from wearing away at the road that is the highway?
Well,
Because the way that thing comes around, it runs right down the side.
There was discussion to do that at one time, wasn't there?
well, they had spoke to Donnie Mache about it, and he was in favor of doing it. And then, at that point, then they could have probably bypassed and not put a bridge in and put a big box culvert in. And that's kind of what all of us were wishing. The main reason for that is you don't have all that guardrail to hold snow in the winter with a box culvert. But for some reason, Brian and KLJ didn't really come up with a solidified plan with the box culvert. I think they just kind of, I don't like to say it this way, but I think they had their heart set on a bridge. And so the existing bridge that's there is a 60-foot bridge, but the new bridge going in is gonna be 87 feet. So the channel's gonna be widened, and it's gonna be widened towards the south, the way I read the plans, which will kind of take a little bit of that curve out. I mean, the curve's gonna be there, but they're not widening it to make that S-curve longer. They're gonna widen it to make the S-curve shorter. But the curve, it's gonna go up into the hill a little bit. So, you know, it hasn't really washed out any, I mean, you can see where the high water years where it's created its own channel, but I'm not concerned, you know, between a 100-year flood about anything like
If
that.
they widen it, that's gonna take care of that.
The bigger the project, the bigger the engineering division.
And I'm guessing they didn't want to deal with the Corps of Engineers of trying to.
Well,
straighten it out.
I think there was a lot more permitting and a lot more in-depth work if we kind of changed the channel a little bit.
It takes a lot of years, but anybody that knows anything about oxbows and so on knows that the channel of the river is gonna change over the course of time. And that river, the way it bends around there is different than when I was a kid.
Yeah, and
So-
in the high water years,
Yeah, and you remember that far back?
Yes,
yeah.
hard to believe, 1800s.
He can remember that, last
But
week isn't so.
one of the first things that goes under when we get a hard spring push or a big summer rain is that little S-curve, and it's basically one big lake, and then at that point, a lot of the water is coming straight through anyway in the high water years, which doesn't, I mean, I'm not concerned about any type of washing out of the bridge or anything like this. You know, it's almost, well, it's 50% bigger. I mean, 60 feet to basically 90 feet.
I'm not worried about the bridge, I'm worried about the side of the road.
Yeah, yeah.
We've never really washed out that road enough, like Pleasant and stuff.
Well, the thing is when it's pushing that hard, it comes straight because it overtakes that bank, and basically it just kind of.
But part of that, what used to be the side of the road is now gonna be bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Won't be the
little
side
bit.
of a road.
Correct. There'll be 30 less feet aside of the road. Correct.
Right, and that will probably eventually cut that curve out.
Yeah, and it may. Yeah.
30 feet of it anyway, because the bridge is 30 feet wide, or
Yeah.
27,
A
whatever.
little-
According to the plans that I have on my desk, it goes from a 60-foot bridge to an 87-foot bridge. And, which is great, but it's just more guardrail. You know, I mean, you already got a lot of guardrail down there. The one thing, that you guys, when they start this project this spring, or I should say summer, all the guardrail that's on that bridge is gonna be replaced, but I had them take all that guardrail apart individually and haul it into Fesden, so we can use that guardrail to fix other bridges, because it's in good shape. Rather than scrap it, we're getting all the old guardrail, because we do have some guardrail on some diversion bridges that needs to be replaced. And rather than buying that stuff new, if we have it, I call them boxing gloves at the end, the little markers. They're saving all 4 of those for us, and it's actually in the contract of whoever gets the bid that they have to disassemble and haul that into Fesden for us. It's in the contract.
Okay,
You and Doc sign that one, send it to the engineer.
Yep.
And then
thanks,
I'll
Dennis.
CC you.
Yep.
Before we start, Brent, we've had a lot of discussion this morning already about, there might be some confusion on which engineering company's got the rerouting road deal over that bridge.
Yeah, because, well, yeah. And actually, I would say it is KLJ. But KLJ is the one that's telling us that we have funding. And Wold is the one that's telling us we don't have funding. And I think we're gonna solve that problem next month. Is that correct, Dan? We're coming together. Now, I know Jason has reached out to the DOT and the bridge guys at the DOT, and they say there's no funding there. And I honestly have no idea where Brian thinks this funding is coming from, because I think all of us in this room, including myself, thought that funding that was for those 2 gravel road bridges got shifted to the highway bridge.
Well, that's our
Well, yeah.
understanding.
That's our, yeah.
So
And-
where that table is, we will drop in the steel cage.
Yeah, because, and Jay, I've talked to Jason quite a bit about this.
Gotta have a divider in it, one on one side and one on the other.
No divider.
Well, Jason had talked to Brian at a conference and told Brian, listen, I've talked to these guys, and Brian says, well, you're wrong, there's funding there. And Jason thinks if there's any funding, it's for engineering,
Yeah.
but not for construction.
If KLJ can get funding and the other one can't, that solves that problem.
Well, yeah,
it's-
well, and the township honestly has already been awarded the funding for the road reroute. Not, they haven't been awarded it, but they were approved it in the flex fund.
Right.
So the road reroute is already gonna be funded through next year. I think they'll get the money, they can do it any of the next 2 years. The big issue is they'll have to apply and will have to apply for the bridge removal. We can reroute the road, and just so you're aware, I know Jason can probably touch to it too, so at the last meeting when Mache's were here, Jason went out there and kinda had a plan that we had kind of applied for, nothing written in stone. The township, Mache's, everybody did not like it. And the reroute was 19th Street. And they said, we do not want a stop sign on 19th Street. Donnie called me several times, Jason called me and said, well, we're gonna have a problem here. So I spent the weekend trying to figure things out, and I met Donnie out the following week, and I came up with a plan that Donnie really likes, and basically instead of rerouting 19th, we're gonna reroute 47.
Around the hill.
Around, so yeah, the rerouting will be in the exact same area. But 47th will come where the reroute was for 19th, and it's gonna come up to a stop sign up on the top of the hill. And then they'll have to cross the new bridge on 19th, and the existing bridge on 47th will be completely taken out, along with an eighth of a mile of road. And when Jason, I called Jason, and Jason said, well, that's a really good idea. He went to the bridge guys in Andy DOT, and they fell in love with it, and they're 100% behind it. So now we've got DOT agreed, Township, Mache's, and the engineer and myself agreed that this is something that would, will solve the problem. And actually, the reroute on 47th, if these guys get their butts in gear, the reroute of that road could be done this year, because it doesn't affect
Right.
either bridge for the reroute.
Because then 19th would be a straight shot again.
19th will still be a straight shot, and basically the bridge that's due to be replaced on 47th is gonna be the bridge that's replaced on 19th, and 47th just goes away. It's just a straight shot for the river.
Sometime in April, our next meeting, can we convene a meeting out there for a short period of time?
Absolutely. And I'll show you what we're talking
Then,
about.
then we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
Either that or someone draw a map on it.
I can draw you a map
I'd
too.
rather see the physical
Yep.
place. though.
It-
but
Well,
basically
there's
you're
just
using
some-
one bridge instead of 2 bridges.
Correct, and that's what the DOT
It'll
really
be an
likes.
East-west road.
Yeah.
The
North-south road's gonna come around and hook on to,
Yep.
19.
19th.
So
And-
47th is gonna have the headache, not 19th.
Well, basically, you're gonna reroute 47th up on the hill.
Yep.
And you're gonna take 1/8 of a mile of that road out. And that, when we reroute the road, all that fill and road and stuff that we're gonna take out can be stockpiled to build 19th up when we get the funding for the bridge removal and replacement of
Comes
19th.
back to this, you gotta have an engineering company do it.
Correct. And,
You got a landowner, I'm assuming that's gonna have to give up some land.
yeah,
and
he,
Get some other land
yeah,
back,
yeah, correct.
so there's gonna be a land swap.
And we did speak to him also, and he's in favor of it. So,
And this is
and that
the
would
bridge
be
here that
Jim,
they're gonna take
Jim
out.
Albright.
And then this is gonna come around to
Then on
here.
the north side of
And then they're gonna
19th,
go
you gotta
across.
make
This
that
is
other
gonna be a
47
stop sign, and
match
this will
up
be
with it.
a stop sign.
47th will actually
They're
match
taking
up
this
with
out, they're gonna
19th,
move a bunch
Yeah,
of
but
this
it'll
dirt
match
here
up
to make
about a
this.
1/4 mile west of where it used to match up.
No, but I'm saying from the north. The
That's what they're
47th is coming up to 19th. That's
No,
what-
because we can't
This
do
one.
that,
This
because
will be-
that would go through Jim Albright's farm. So there would be,
Right, lives right
you would
in-
have you would
No,
19,
no,
right in there.
this road's coming up to 19, you cross the bridge, but when you go north on 47th again, that has to get brought up too, I mean, that has to be built a little bit.
well, there'll be a little, because you're lifting 19th up, you'll have to build up,
A little bit, but, right.
correct. But the north side of 47th won't move any.
No.
Yeah,
You
okay,
gotta
I
get it ready
missed it.
to get on to 19.
Where didn't Donnie want a stop sign on this?
See, when the plan that Jason turned in was rerouting 19th over to 47th.
Right.
And that's where the stop sign would be, then you would basically, we were talking about eliminating the bridge on 19th and replacing the bridge on 47th.
Replace this one.
And what we did is we switched it, and eliminate the bridge on 47th and replace the
This is
bridge on
47th.
19th.
But even if you did that, wouldn't if you put the stop sign still on 47th and let 19 go straight through?
There was no way to do it, because we were gonna
I know that you were
put,
coming down there, but couldn't you just let that go?
There won't be a stop sign in 19. if
there
we do
won't
it this
be
way.
a stop
There's
sign on
gonna be a
19th
stop
anymore.
sign.
But there had to be,
There's gonna be a
because
stop sign when they come
we
down
were eliminating a
47th
bridge.
at 19th.
And see, we wanted to do, I know what you're saying. We wanted to put the bridge out in the pasture,
Yeah, I know.
and then there would be none.
This will be no
But
bridge on it.
Let the engineers
the ground is no good
That's
for
what we
that.
pay them $50,000 for it.
But this is the way, but
You guys are all sounding like engineers.
Ain't gonna be a discount though.
Well, Jason knows what plan we want. I haven't spoke to Brian about it because it was through Jason that we got that the township or the county got the funding for the road realignment.
Well, you gotta stick with Jason in this deal then.
That's what I'm
Design
saying,
part,
if
that's what
somebody's
I-
already made plans on this, they.
Well, Jason has, and I have not seen any type of plans at all for, that KLJ has done for either of those gravel road bridges, because they've been focused on the highway bridge.
KLJ's got the bridge north down.
But that's a sticky wicket too, because, you know, I think that'd be a question for Oliver too, because if Jason's right, and what the state tells him is that all the funding that we had received for the bridges is used up on County One, and there is no more funding, then I would think it would be open to you guys to decide which engineer you want. If there's no funding left, then I think that says, hey, Wold Engineering is our engineer, there's no funding left because you're handling the bridge on County One. And remember, KLJ also handled the bridge over by Harvey.
Right.
So I do believe after the County One bridge is done, all the funding that we received 3 years ago, or whatever year it was, that we received the funding for these bridges is used up.
It's used up on.
Correct.
on one.
So I think if you chose to go with Jason, you could.
Well,
so who,
that's our dilemma though, Dan seems to think they both think they've got it.
Well, Jason, I don't think Jason thinks he's got it. He's just doing a lot of the work for us right now because everything's up in the air as far as this funding. And until KLJ either understands that there is no funding or Wold understands that there is, and we should get that answer next month, then I think we can proceed
So I
from
guess
there.
amongst these questions, we gotta wait for them to.
Yeah.
but did KLJ get that funding moved from those two bridges over to one, or did Wolf?
KLJ did.
And, friends or no friends, none of these guys are doing anything.
No.
Right.
Well,
No,
like I said,
the good thing is, the way I understand it, for the road realignment, all that engineering is covered in that grant.
See, I said that.
See?
There should be no cost for any of the road realignment engineering, it's covered in
So
the
you
grant.
really should question that $50,000 we just paid last month to come out of the.
Well, that's the 52. Not-
But,
Oh, Stan.
that's the way I understood that grant, is all construction engineering and everything is covered with that grant for the road realignment.
We don't have to negotiate that.
So the other question we're gonna bring up at the 6th county meeting is, do other counties negotiate, engineering costs with, engineers?
Well, that's a good question, I don't know. I mean, I can say it on the record, I don't mean anything negative towards KLJ, but we've been working with Wold for a long, long time, and I think Wold has done a good job, but I sometimes wonder how much we're getting billed for and how much that they're doing stuff and not billing us for. I think you're getting billed for every minute from KLJ. I really do.
Wolf is
I
right,
don't
right up there.
think Wolves missed any bills either.
No, well, no, I mean,
I
I'm
don't
just,
think so.
but Wold is doing more work for the county than KLJ. KLJ's just working on 2 projects right now. They did the one and they're working on the other one.
Although it's money, we made, get that great big spreadsheet where you had when the roads were paved and everybody got that.
Yeah.
Whoa, they may not have charged us for that
Right.
directly. So there's a little perk.
You the 5, 10, 15-year plan thing?
Yeah, that thing.
Well, I think since JOK did that bridge over there, I think that started to roll up a little bit.
Oh, it definitely
That
rattled.
was good though.
I think that
Yeah,
was a good-
I'm not saying it's bad, but
I'm just saying,
what it did is maybe open Wold's eyes a little bit.
Right.
Because we had 2 or 3 engineers that we went through to do this.
Well, I think you interviewed Apex too.
Yeah,
Did 3.
I remember that stack of them papers. Yeah.
So, I mean, right now, I think we gotta wait for some answers from these 2 in April. And I would assume in April, we're gonna find out, I think at the end of March, the County 1 bridge goes to bid. I don't know the exact date, Brian was gonna tell me what the exact date was, but that's gonna go to bid and hopefully be completed. And what do you guys have set aside for that, about 400,000?
That's what I anticipate it'll cost. There's $500,000 in the capital projects fund. And whatever's left over, we'll go towards next summer.
Yep, next
As
time.
long as we're on some of these miscellaneous items, Brian's got a question on chase leaders. Have it back to you.
Is there a possibility to find the 3 worst miles that are together and try a project on there that might work?
Are you talking gravel or pavement?
Gravel.
Okay, what are you thinking?
Well, there's been a lot of discussion about the chase road, why it is like it is, and the shoulders that are there, the pieces that are left, and all this kind of stuff.
On the very outside.
And I've done some snooping with some people that have built roads, and I'm not trying to pour water on anything you guys have done. One of the comments I got from a guy, and I'm just bringing this up, he said, he said, that road's probably got a lot of clay underneath. He said, you need to mix your clay with your top stuff and reshape that road. He said, and I think you'd get a really good road out of it. What's your thought on that?
Well, it was ground up and returned to aggregate before I started working
Yeah, I
with the
know.
county.
Yep.
And I know then at the time, from what I've found out about it is when they ground that pavement up, and mind you, this was in the 90s, I think what they did is they covered that road with gravel from the Heinz pit.
Right, yep. I knew
And,
that, yep.
and back then, and it's gotten way better now, they've got some clay mixed into that, but back then when they did that, that gravel was really sandy.
Right.
And so when they ground it, they mixed the gravel in, they ground it up, then they, the blade guy that did all the reshaping on that was Jerome Gallagher, who at the time was the best blade guy Wells County had. Some will argue the best they've ever had. He reshaped the road, but when they ground it, they should have made another path on each of the outside.
Right, exactly.
And they
Right.
didn't. So when we got that shouldering disc, one of the first roads that we worked on was that road.
Right.
And we went down both sides of the shouldering disc, and every once in a while we would hit chunks of pavement. And then we pulled the shoulders on that a little bit, and we also brought some chunks of pavement up with the motor graders. Since then, since I've been here, then we gravelled that road with gravel from the Weiss pit that was in high content clay,
Sure.
and it made it a lot better.
Right.
But if the way to do that then would be to get some type of ripper that
Right.
can go on the back of one of our machines, rent one for a week, and drop that ripper in at least 1.5 to 2 feet,
Right.
and completely rip that up and reshape
Right.
and bring some of that clay up and reshape the road. I'm not against it,
Well,
but
not to interrupt, but aren't the edges still have some pavement?
And believe it or not, we had Bucky went out there and popped a lot of that pavement out with his
Because
machine.
wasn't the proposal a few years ago?
To
from
grind the
Hamburg,
outside.
They were gonna grind that outside.
And honestly, if we ever, I had actually, when we ground up the 1.5 miles over here by Hamburg 2 years ago, when I talked to the guys running the grinder at that time, to talk about grinding the outside edge.
They were gonna do it.
Yep.
And they run out of time.
They
because
run out of time because we were grinding in the spring and
Right.
water and the rain, and we didn't grind any roads last year, so I just kind of dropped it till there was a grinder. Now, I'm assuming there'll be some type of grinder here this summer,
That's my proposal.
working on 52.
Right. You gotta
So-
have access to one again.
Yep, where I can go out in, I think Central Specialties got that bid correct, but I think they've subcontracted so many people, I'm sure they'll subcontract IBI to come do any grinding. I can speak to IBI and ask them if they would do that. They'll fly through it. I mean, they'll one pass, I'm not lying, one outside pass in 2 days, they'd probably have that 7 miles on both shoulders.
Then you
ground
could
up.
really crown it.
Oh, then you could pull stuff together and you could still put the ripper and mix it all together and you'd have
Right.
quite a deal.
But I don't want this to come out wrong either, but we are talking about a county gravel road that is 30 feet wide, 26 feet wide.
It needs to be
And
narrowed up.
I don't need to tell you the amount of truck traffic that goes on that road.
I know.
One thing that's gonna try to help build ground up to that is that road needs to be narrowed to about
Right.
26 feet, which or
But
24.
you can't do that now if the edges aren't ground
Correct.
up.
We
You gotta
could-
grind it up,
Grind the outside up, try to narrow the road up, and try to keep some crown
and
on.
then you and Bucky have a 5-day party down there and.
Well,
crown
Bucky's
it up.
gonna have the party, he's gonna have a grin on his face, he won't be able to knock it off with a 2x4.
But yeah, here's the thing you gotta keep in mind. He mentioned we're barely gonna have enough money to do 52.
Right.
Okay, do we have to redo our priority list?
But
Well,
that
I
grinding
don't,
wouldn't cost much, would it?
Oh, it cost you.
nah, you're gonna be talking 6 figures, you're gonna have to gravel, you're gonna be renting, you're gonna have you're talking 7 miles, and I would say you're probably gonna have 2 days of that grinder is probably gonna be at least 40,000 just for the grinder.
It'll be over 100.
I think it's a 6-figure project, but, I mean, I don't want it to sound like, I just don't necessarily know if that 7 miles is a big priority right now to the county.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Our
Because
priority
it-
list is 71 next.
If it's bladed once every 2 weeks, and it has to be, it's not the worst road out there. There's a couple people that think it is, but those are the same people that are hauling 30 or 40 or 50, 100,000 pound loads across it every day.
Sure.
You
I was
know-
on that road this morning.
It's the
yeah.
same
Turns out to be
situation.
pretty large, pretty.
Oh, yeah,
First
well,
half
that's
mile.
typical this time of year.
Yeah, I'm just
I mean,
telling.
it's been hauled on for 5 months,
Right.
since it's been bladed.
Whatever, I just.
I'm not against it, Brian, but that would be the way to go about it.
Sure.
But maybe we gotta review our priority list. That's the problem. Are we gonna do 71 next and then put that next, or are we gonna?
Well, I
This is a
think-
lower cost.
It is.
As far as.
I
But it's
think
still
the
gonna be a
next,
cost.
Right.
being we supposedly have the funding, fingers crossed with the Prairie Dog on Old 52.
Right.
And I think Jason will probably tell you the same. Dan is right. I last fall, I was a little bit in disagreement with Dan about which was the next priority, County 1 or the middle of 5. And we listed County 1 as our second priority after Old 52. And if you drive County 1 right now, you better have a mouthpiece in. County 1, I think after this Old 52 project is priority number 1, and then you can argue middle of 5 or 71 or Chaseley, but County 1 is rough, and it's getting worse and worse and worse every year. I think Jason will agree that County 1 should be our next major priority,
Well, then,
especially with the new bridge on it by the end of the
let's do a
year.
little bit of research, Brent, and next meeting, let's review our priority
Yeah.
list.
but 71's in
You
there?
can't do everything.
No.
Right.
And I would honestly,
71 is ugly.
I would put 71 before Chaseley gravel.
Really
And
ugly.
right now, that's our next
Tell me,
priority.
hey, tell me this, if you were to take the skid steer out there, because they've popped a lot of these, well, even with the blade, popped a lot of that pavement out, how much pavement's left?
Not much.
Okay, with that said,
Why wouldn't a ripper rip it up and then you?
To be honest with you, if we really wanted to get aggressive, I promise you Bucky will get it out of there with a blade.
so what if
We
we
just
did?
need to have a
yeah.
payloader and a truck to pick up the chunks.
Oh,
So what if we did 2 miles just for an experiment to see how much grief we get?
Well, I don't think you'll get any grief, it's just a matter of,
Does that even make sense, or if you're?
I'm not
gonna do-
against it.
do-
I think it's a perfect idea, except for time and money.
Yeah, but
But 2 miles would
We
be.
can go out there with the blade for 2 miles, pick 2 miles, whether it's the
Whatever.
south two or north two, whatever. Turn Bucky loose on the shoulder with the blade, and I promise you, when he's done in that 2 miles, and it might take him a day, there won't be any asphalt left.
Might as well do that.
I would say let's try.
We can try that. I'm not,
I mean, 2 miles, you'll be able to figure out if the rest of it's feasible or not, and,
Mhm.
you know.
well, if we can do an adequate job with the blade, then why rent a ripper?
Exactly.
And-
none of these blades got a ripper, do they?
No, what had happened is the county had a ripper many, many years ago on one machine. And that it took a different, we never took the ripper off, but we had to have a different rear bumper for the wing package.
Oh, yeah.
And we traded that machine in many years ago, and we said, listen, we never used the ripper anyway, and rather than have extra parts, we traded the machine in with the ripper and went to all the same bumper package for our wings. That's how that came about.
So if you were gonna do this with the maintainer and Bucky,
Mm-hmm.
and he pulled those pieces out of there, it would be, spring would be the best when the
Oh, yeah,
road
when
goes
it's
soft,
softer.
so he could,
You'd want to have the
Turn that
frost
road
come
up.
out, you want to have, you know, I mean, and it will, and then turn Bucky loose for a day over there, take the payloader out in the truck and pick up the chunks.
Let's try that.
You'll be happy.
but I mean, that way in the spring, the road is, he doesn't, you know, he can
It's
get in there
soft,
and
it's
pull
not all
up and
dried
mix.
out and heat from heat.
Yeah, he can
And
mix
then
everything.
that 2 miles, we would reshape
Right,
and try to narrow a little bit and see
Right.
if we can maintain ground on it.
sure.
I don't have a problem with that.
Good. All right, then take care of that.
Sure, I just would like to see if something, you know, if we can learn from it. We got other roads that are gonna have that same issue.
But the way it sounds, next meeting we better review that.
Priorities,
sure.
Whether we go 1 or 71.
Right.
Yeah, because, you know, the way we applied this last time, we applied for Old 52 first, County 1 second, and then County 5 was third. And now that we hopefully will get the funding for Old 52, that kind of bumps County 1 up to our number 1 priority. And you're gonna have a brand new bridge on it by the end of the year. So it would really be nice if we could find some funding, basically for exactly what we're doing on Old 52, to do on County 1, and that would be a mill and fill. Huh? 7.5 or 8.
Closer to 8.
Yeah, closer to 8.
Going north of town.
Yeah. Starts here by the underpass and goes up to 5.
Boy, when you drive to the underpass, you better know where you're going.
Now, thank God, I think they finally fixed the pumps.
Yeah, but the holes.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what happens when it sits with water all winter long.
It's got that brine, they put 1,000 gallons of brine in there to thaw that out.
And that's tough on pavement, especially when you
Really
put it on
tough
that thick.
stuff. Just
Man,
rotted
if you
it
don't know
out.
where you're going there, you're gonna take trouble off for easy.
Well, there's been a couple cars that have had, I'm not gonna say accidents, but have done damage to their cars.
Oh, yeah.
Lady ripped the transmission cooler lines off her SUV one day going through there. She got towed to Bismarck. And I think that's really what got the state going, listen, we gotta do something about that.
What? Yeah, something's gotta happen before the state does something, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's too bad, because boy, I tell you what, if we don't do something, we hear it right away by
Yeah,
about
I
15
know.
phone calls, trust me.
So we get back to, you know, that's why we have to rely on our engineers, because we gotta get aggressive with getting these flex funds and whatever, because that's the only way you fix these roads.
It's the only chance.
Without the feet.
So without the fees, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take a pause for the cause here.
Is that Jason? Okay.
There's Steve.
Hello?
Oh, there's something today. Did you get up on the right side of bed this morning or the wrong side of bed? I don't know what it is.
Morning. We can hear you here, we're in the middle of the meeting, Jason. Can you hear us, Jason?
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, you got the floor, have you got stuff you wanna present to us?
Okay, sounds good.
Anybody
I just
here?
wanted to give you a brief update. I believe Brent is aware of everything going on now with this township project, but I just wanted to let you guys know we did send in for a scoping change after Brent and Don have met, had a very good idea as to where to go next with that project. So we have been approved. I sent all the information in. We needed to reroute the north-south road versus rerouting 19th now. We'll still be able to, we'll now be eliminating the bridge on that road instead of on 19th, which I think is really a much better idea here overall, and so did the state. So they approved that. Because it's a very similar project as far as scoping and size, we believe we should be able to build that for this project for the same budget that was initially approved through the state. So obviously that was really the only major concern that the state had. So I guess we would like to get started on that as soon as you guys are okay with us doing that. I could certainly come next meeting with some more detail as far as what we would be doing on the preliminary engineering side of things and bringing contract and all that. I think we can hold off another month on that, but we would like to get started at that point. We would, obviously get the environmental and cultural issues going. We would get quotes on that and try to get that started probably in May. One aspect that I don't know if I've told Brent yet, but I brought up to local government, to Brandon. I asked what the chances were that they would potentially find the money to get that bridge removed at the same time. I mean, obviously, if we could get the bridge on 47th removed as part of this project, if they can find the funding, it'd be ideal for everyone to get that, be a project out of the way, I guess, for the future. So I sent in all the information I had as far as we kind of put an estimate together for removing that bridge, because we're going to have to remove 47th Avenue up to the bridge anyways. A lot of the dirt we'll use to build the new road will come from there, or some of the dirt, I should say. So he really liked the idea, but I sent the information in at least a week, if not a week and a half ago now, and I don't have an answer back yet, so I don't look that, but we did request that as well, and it's kind of a long shot that we would get the funding to do the bridge removal as well, but if we could, that would be phenomenal. I think.
That'd be really good,
So,
Jason, this is Brent. Say, on this flex funding for this road realignment, does that, in that flex funding that was given, does that include all engineering, construction engineering?
it does, yeah. Let me pull up the exact numbers here.
Years.
You down to sleep, baby.
The total costs $565,400 was my construction estimate. Preliminary construction engineering at right around $125,000, and that would include environmental as well. We got 28 grand in the right of way, 25,000 in utilities, which is may or may not be needed. So the total was just under $743,000.
And
according to the application, we were requesting that minus 5,000.
from the township, correct?
The township had said they would pitch in $5 grand and they're covering the rest. So
Good.
as long as, as long as we stay within that scope, that's why we needed to get the scoping change approved, obviously, because they're paying for almost the entire thing here. So, but yeah, they're on board. As far as I'm concerned, you guys are only on the hook for the $5 grand, and I guess if you guys are happy with kind of the new scoping here, I think we'd like to get started, at least getting some quotes on for environmental and cultural, and get the ball rolling here to get this done next year.
Yeah, Jason, that sounds good. Let me just go around the room here. I think everybody's probably in agreement with that.
Yep, I am.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds like everybody would say go for it. We agree with that.
Perfect. So yeah, I'll get going on quotes for that portion, and then I'll come next meeting, with our contract and any other questions, and hopefully by that point I've got a little more information as we get the ball rolling here. But yeah, I think we got a really good project here now. I'm glad those two were able to come up with this. I'm a little disappointed myself I didn't come up with it, but that's okay.
Takes a big man to admit it.
Yeah.
No, that sounds really
I
good.
multiple times, and I knew the option we had wasn't ideal with those multiple T intersections. But when we realized, when I was out there with Don, and I realized that 19th is so much more important than 47th.
Yeah.
As far as traffic, as far as the majority
That's a
of the
through road,
traffic
that's a
around
through road through the whole county.
It's
It's a through road all the way to three.
Yeah.
Well, it goes all the way
It's
around.
here, I guess, to move
Well, that's what I
47.
mean, yeah. It's a through road, that's what I say.
Not only that, but now we stay away from the bridge on 19th for now. Obviously, I think that'll be probably near the top of your guys' list if there's bridge flex funds here in another year. We'll be applying within a year and a half of now, probably. I would think that bridge on 19th getting replaced would be near the top of the list, but if we can get rid of that bridge on 47th, and they fund it, or fund the
That'd be
majority of
really
it,
great.
we're doing pretty good there.
Yeah.
So,
Brian, and as far as roads, the next time that we would be, if we look at our priority list, the next time that we would be applying for flex funding then would be in the fall of 27, where we would have to have a priority list again of whether it's County 1 or 5 or 71 for some projects for flex funding. That would be not this fall, but next fall.
The last time around here was July, August, we started getting information.
So about 15 months from now.
They were doing September. So I would say my hope is that by July of 2027, we've got whatever information they got coming out. Because they need, legislature will meet next year. They wrap up in April. And then it takes them a few months to kind of sort through all the mess there. But assuming they have something similar, which I think everyone is hoping is the case here, it'll be like July of next year, we'll start planning for what you guys want to do next. So,
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jason.
yeah, thank you guys.
See you next month.
So, all righty.
All right. Thanks.
That's all I got for you.
Have a good day.
Yep, safe.
No, we don't need the cage next month.
Well, no,
That's some of
because
that.
he's already doing that work and we don't pay for
I
it.
can tell you what to do, but I really think we need a motion, don't we? I mean, we kinda got a consensus, but don't we need a motion to hire them to do that project?
Well,
Maybe not.
It's not doubled up then.
He's
It's not doubled
he's
up.
not coming with the contract till April. I don't know, would it behoove you guys to figure out exactly what's going on with the bridge funding with when these two meet next month to make any official motion? Being he's not gonna be coming with the contract till next month. I don't know. Above my pay scale.
Well, we already gave them permission to go here,
All right, you better do that.
so I think you've done great.
Unless the consensus is good enough, but,
Well, I think officially, let's,
yeah,
let's
I'll
make
make a
it
motion
official.
that we hired Bold Engineering to do the engineering specs on that project.
19th and 47.
Yep.
Road
Road rerouting and a new bridge.
They want to word it perfectly.
Well,
Not the bridge,
Not
this
the
is just the
bridge.
road reroute. We have
Road
a-
rerouting,
Yep.
okay.
But removal of the old bridge.
Yeah.
That could be-
Ooh, on rerouting of 19th. Or no, of
We
47.
talked a lot about that. Is that removal a big deal?
A guy with a track hoe would have that bridge out of there in about 3 hours.
That's what I thought. I mean, what's the?
Yeah.
Is that where you go when you do it?
Well, there's not much of a bridge there. I think with the metal part of it, you'd haul the west end, we'd crush it up and throw it in a.
Truck or
It's,
two.
yeah, when you see the
Very much
bridge, you'll,
Okay,
yeah, there's no cement guardrails or nothing, there's
so we
just,
got a motion up for, I gotta get a second before we discuss.
I'll second it.
Second by Boone. Go ahead. So that you don't think that's a big deal?
no, not at all.
Not for the bridge, it's only for the removal of the bridge and the reconstruction of 47, right?
Correct, yep, the realignment of 47.
Right.
He's working on the removal of the old.
Right.
Yep, and he may have an answer next meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll have to get some signage then when we do some stuff that both.
Oh, yeah, as soon, well, we would have to do exactly what we did up on that railroad bridge up in Heimdall. We would put permanent road closed signs on both sides that you cannot get around.
Harvey, just like that.
Yep, and then they would be there forever. The signs that we put up when I first started in 2002 were still up there.
Because the last thing we need is to have a record.
Well, if they go around, yeah, we don't want anybody to get hurt, but we gotta have it properly signed.
Okay. End of discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, Brent, you got 8 more minutes.
He won't need that long.
Well, 74, I don't have much for you guys, 26 more to go, yeah.
Okay.
The oil I checked is up to 200 degrees, so we just turned it on last Monday. So if the weather looks good next week, we're gonna start tar carting. They are talking now, we're gonna have spring's not here yet. They're predicting that the second half of March is supposed to be cooler than average. So, but if we get some nice days, the oil is turned on, we will go tar cart. I don't think there'll be any blades on any gravel roads for several weeks. So, other than that, we completed some shop inspections yesterday. We'll finish them today and tomorrow, get our quarterlies done because they are due by the end of March. We're gonna get that taken care of now because we expect to get busier.
Got all the road restriction signs on?
All the load restriction signs are on.
Good.
The state, Brian was asking me, the state has got their load restrictions on all the way up to Bismarck and almost to Minot, and we were told that we can expect the state to put load restrictions on in our area, start moving this way. They always start west and move east. So they're on up to Steele. We expect to see the state restrictions on next week. If the weather holds, no major storms. Ours are on, Foster counties are on, Eddy counties are on, all the signs are up and they took effect yesterday. Other than that, it's just business as usual for us. You guys got any questions? As far as like I said, our plan for March is to hopefully not move snow, do some tar carting, and get ready to fully attack these gravel roads that need lots of work as soon as the weather cooperates.
Can you do the tarring about any weather, or does it?
Well, I mean,
warm?
we could tar when it's 10 below. It just ain't any fun for the guys.
Yeah.
We usually try to get out there when it's not really windy and it's at least 30 degrees. It gets cold standing on the highway all day this time of year. The cracks are going to be open till into May, and we have scheduled now 19 miles that we want to for sure tar cart. And just so you're aware, because we are gonna chip seal that new 7 miles up by Harvey, we tar carted it last year, but we are gonna tar cart it again because it is our newest. We're gonna retar those cracks for the second year in a row because we are chip sealing it, and we're gonna tar cart all of County 4. And we were gonna tar cart a little bit on Old 52, but I don't know that we will now, being that it's gonna get ground up. Yep, it'd just be a waste of oil. So that is our plan for
You
March.
talked to the city of Harvey and that township over there about doing that?
I haven't met with them. It's, I think I'd have to look back, but I think we told them every 6 years, correct?
I think so.
And we did it in 21. So technically, they would have till next summer.
Well, that's, okay.
Correct. Yeah, we actually, it was 21.
I mean, that thing stood up really well, it's no use letting it go ahead.
No, and as long as the township and the city of Harvey and everybody can keep the trucks off that road, I expect it to continue to hold up. And another chip seal is only gonna improve it.
So Brian wants to know, the guy that needed the permit the other day, is there a project going through the county?
Well, that was a house.
Oh.
So, yeah, he said it's a big house, and I don't know where they were going with it. So, I filled out 28, load pass permits for Fisher, and if you go up to the Johnson pit, that pit is just full of equipment, crushers, conveyors, dozers, payloaders, and that is all being moved in because that is gonna be one of the main pits Fisher is crushing Central Specialties for the 52 project. Okay, this one, the guy sent a load pass last Friday when we were in the meeting. I didn't catch it. Saturday I approved it. I was sick with the flu, and I was running back and forth to the bathroom, and I seen I had 4 missed calls in 25 minutes. Holy cow, I look at some guy Morale from Minneapolis, I look at my email, oh, he filed a load pass for me. I signed it 25 minutes after he approved it.
He
Well,
called
then-
Brian and
yeah,
told him
so I called him and I said, holy cow, man, I don't check my emails every 20 minutes. I said, you called me 4 times and said I got the flu, I approved both your permits.
I thought he was talking about a track hole that he was moving.
Well,
He told me there was some pipeline up there north of Heimdall.
oh, I mixed up the permit, the house was before that, yes. It's for the pipeline project, they're moving the track hole in, they gotta dig up there.
Okay.
That's what it is.
What kind of pipeline's going in there?
Well, they're not putting a new pipeline in, they have to dig up an existing portion. I suppose one of the sensors went out.
Oh, okay.
So they
On
got
that
a
pipeline right
on
by
that
the
pipeline
railroad.
that runs through, yeah.
By the railroad.
Yeah, I mixed them
All
up,
right.
I've been signing so many, I
Okay,
apologize.
time's up. Anything else?
No, but anyway, when I asked him, I said, my God, and he goes, well, we kinda didn't get all our permits in and our track hoe is already on its way to you.
Yeah.
Well, it's not my fault you guys are behind schedule here, so that was the mix.
I guess the question, I'm not sure how it works. He said he already got one online,
Everything is online.
so I don't know why he was calling.
He goes, I just wanna make sure that what it says online is it's 80,000. I said, well, that's what your permit says, but you're permitted for over that, that's why I signed it. And he goes, well, okay, well, it was a $57 permit.
All right, sounds good. Morning, Oliver.
Morning, how are you all?
Good.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's a bit of a drive. So I guess, if you guys have any questions to start off from me before I get into what I was gonna talk about, any questions about ongoing stuff?
The county,
We'll ask that after we have, why don't you go ahead and do your stuff and.
Sure, I mean, in terms of reporting, everything's kind of going as normal. I don't really have anything specific that's big to report. We have one appeal going to the Supreme Court, which is currently pending right now. It's based on the jury trial that happened last October. That one, it's just sort of pending until the Supreme Court actually schedules an oral argument on it, so that's going to be a little while out. In terms of felony trials coming up, I have a few, but not anything super serious. Nothing's really too out of the ordinary with respect to the crimes happening right now. The one thing that I wanted to bring to the attention of the commission, I don't know whether it's been formally placed on the agenda or not, but I was thinking about the issue that I brought up the last time I was here, which was the problem of there only being one attorney in Wells County. And the problem with giving the voters kind of a choice with respect to the person that they would like to have as state's attorney. I don't want to bring this across the wrong way, but I think that it would be prudent to consider making the position of state's attorney appointed. And the reason that I say that is because I've talked to a number of other state's attorneys in other counties who are facing kind of the same problem that I have, where they're the only attorney in the county and they're not going to be there forever. Now, obviously, I intend to stay, and I bought property in Wells County, and I intend to fully run for the office for this year, so there's no problem with that. But in terms of looking forward into the future, the way that you get a state's attorney who is able to maintain the job and keep doing the work that needs to be done is that you have to look outside the county if there aren't any other attorneys in the county. This is happening in Brent, and then I believe Sheridan, after Mr. Matt Erickson retires, in what's it called, McIntosh County, Logan County, and then Sioux County at least in this. I don't think Nelson County is doing it, not Nelson County, I don't think Sheridan County is doing it this election cycle, but the other four that I mentioned are. So I wanted to put that out there and ask you guys any questions that you have with respect to how you feel about it. The reason that I want to bring that up is because obviously the question has been posed to the voters before, and the voters said no. The voters, I don't think, were necessarily informed of the fact that being given one person as a choice is not really a choice.
No.
Whereas if for whatever reason the voters decided, hey, Mr. Bronte's not doing his job in a way that I like, they can voice their discontent, and then you guys would be in a position to listen to the voters. I understand that people want to be able to select their state's attorney in the manner that they're accustomed to, and that's perfectly fine, I understand that. But in this particular circumstance, I think making it an appointed position actually gives the voters more authority over who they choose. So I wanted to put that question out there to you guys, since we're getting to the point where if we wanted to put it on a ballot, we have to decide that now.
If we can get the people to understand just what you presented here.
You're speaking to the choir there, to speak for the commission. We totally agree with you, and I'm in that camp too, that if you're appointed, people can come if they're disgruntled to us, and we have more leverage in dealing with the issue than if they were elected.
If you're elected and they come and complain, we really can't do that.
So what I think might be a good idea would be, it's not strictly required by the law, but it is probably what we should do if you're interested in doing that, is to hold meetings of the type that you held for the reporter position, which was, I can't remember exactly when that was.
I think statutorily, this has to be petition initially.
Yep.
So the petition, the state's attorney position being made appointed doesn't have to be, and I can email you the analysis that I did of it, but basically there's two ways to do it. The difference between the state's attorney position and all of the other positions that you can make appointed is that the state's attorney petition, state's attorney position has to be put on the ballot as a positive question. It's not the county commission can make a unilateral decision, and then if the voters disagree, they can file a petition with you, Dan, and then the question gets put to the voters. It actually has to be put on the ballot every time. But the commission can, by resolution, adopt a measure saying, hey, we're going to put the question to the voters on the next election.
Okay, so, and you're the lawyer in the room here. Code Century Code 11-1002.3 says the appointment of the state's attorney upon voter approval upon the submission to the Board of County Commissioners of a petition signed by 10% or more of the total number of qualified electors of the county voting for governor at the most recent gubernatorial election, and upon resolution at that point of the county commissioners, county auditor shall place the question for appointing the state's attorney on the ballot at the next primary or general election, whichever occurs first. Now, that said, that's exactly the process we followed the last time around. There was a petition drive, and at the time we had a sitting state's attorney, so we felt that a conflict of interest to provide education to the county on whether or not they should make this an appointed position when you have an elected person in that seat. Again, I'll reiterate what Stan said. I think we're very much in that camp because it makes sense in a small rural county where options, there aren't any. Okay, so we're I believe we're all on board with this, but as I read the century code, it requires a citizen-initiated petition process.
So it actually, the most recent revision that I'm reading here, appointment of state's attorney upon voter approval, it's upon the submission of the petition or upon resolution of the Board of County Commissioners. The newest version of it does allow the Board of County Commissioners to make a resolution unilaterally to put the question to the voters, although it doesn't allow you to, like you would for the other positions, to to make it appointive subject to a voter referendum if they disagree. So
And that's great, I'm glad to hear that.
So we wouldn't have to.
So it's
go
one
sign a
small
petition?
preposition.
Yeah.
You're saying and, he's saying or.
So,
You know, it's or.
so we also have the general election in November, which, in my estimation, given what we already know is gonna come on this primary election, we might be better off in just being patient for another 6 months.
I don't know. Well,
Do it in November or June and November?
Well, do it in November, because we're gonna put something else on the ballot in June.
Right.
Oh,
And I
right.
don't want them both to fail.
Exactly.
Well, and you have your voter turnout in November, probably is better.
Way more.
And it'll give some time to educate people why we're doing this.
I would prefer to do it in November, just so that we
When I
can.
initially got your text on Sunday, I thought, oh, now he's not gonna be eligible to be on the ballot.
Nope.
As long as you're eligible to be on the ballot in June,
If the voters decide that they do not want to make the position appointive, they will still have the opportunity to elect me. It's just
In
not to
November.
give anybody else the ability to run. Unless
You don't
somebody
have
wants
to
to move
have
it, which I'm
but
perfectly happy with.
it also gives time to educate. You know, we've gotta focus our education on something else right now.
Sure, yep, absolutely.
I don't think the voters will block it, I think they will block it. So,
Obviously, if we do it the way that you did for the reporter position, I'm happy to appear for any of those, or not required, but probably prudent meetings to, discuss publicly. So, I'll definitely be there for those.
all right,
That's
I
the-
got old century code, I need updates.
Fair enough, I can give you a copy. Anyway.
Well, we have an opportunity, we're gonna, this summer, meet with all of our townships, and we can get the word out how that, it's another education kind of thing.
If you give me those dates, I'll definitely do it. All right. Well, that's the only question that I had. Do you guys have any, well, you said you had something you wanted to bring up as far
Yeah,
as.
I'm gonna phrase this so that I, try and do it walking on eggshells here, but, somebody gets hurt at work, when they return to work, sometimes you have to find alternate things for them to do because you have a broken leg or a broken arm or whatever the case may be. And this always gets you into difficult circumstances of finding things that some employees can do. Some employees are very flexible and can do lots of different things for you, some maybe not so much. If we have an employee, and I say if, this is a hypothetical, if we have an employee that is just not physically capable of doing the job to which they're assigned any longer, what recourse from a legal standpoint would you share with these 5 individuals? What options does the county have?
Well, it's an at-will employment state. Basically, if they were hired to do a specific job and they are physically incapable of doing the job, I don't know if there's necessarily anything that can be done other than if you deem it appropriate to terminate the work relationship to do that. I would just put a pin in that and say, let me come back to you guys with an answer in a week. After I talk to the NDACO guys so that we're not, inviting any kind of lawsuit if that were the case. But you say it's a hypothetical, so it should be fine. I believe though that the strictures of state law with respect to the at-will employment are basically, you get hired to do a job you're physically capable of doing. If you're not physically capable of doing the job, then that is just cause to terminate the work relationship, because you can't have we would be poor stewards of public funds if we allowed a person to collect a salary for something they are not doing, if that makes sense.
And I'll frame this a different way, and it'll be a hypothetical, because these things can and do come up. We had a law enforcement officer several years ago had a broken foot. Stands to reason, given the nature of that job, you cannot fulfill your duties as law enforcement if you can't physically get up and get after somebody if that is what the situation demands.
Sure.
Now, is there a certain amount of office work that goes with law enforcement? Yes. So you could reassign that